Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let's look at some different ways that you could use the Help menu on your Mac. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 2,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So when you look in the menu bar on your Mac in just about any app, you're going to see that the last item is Help. And as you may expect, the Help menu is a way to get to documentation for the app that you're using. But it can do so much more than that. So for instance, here I am in Pages, and if I go to the Help menu, I can see here Pages Help. And if I choose that, it's going to bring up a special Help window, which gives me access to documentation. Usually I could browse through it, and very often you're going to see a table of contents link here at the top. Click on that, and you get a table of contents here on the left, and you can select an item here, and then it will take you to that part of the documentation for that app. So here I am in the Mail app, and I go to Help, and there's Mail Help, and I could view the help here. I can click on Table of Contents, and I can jump to any section there that I like. Here in the Photos app, the same thing. Photos Help, and there's a Table of Contents here, right here, and I can click on it and jump to different sections. And here in Freeform, the same thing. Go to Help, and then Freeform Help. And then I can jump to the different sections in Table of Contents. And there's also a search button right there. You click on that, and then you could search for something, and it will give you search results for the documentation. Another thing you can often find in the Help menu is an item called What's New. So here in Pages, I find What's New in Pages. I could select that, and it's going to tell me what's new in the latest version of Pages. So a lot of times you hear that there's a new version of something, you read an article or watch a video, it tells you what's new, and then later on when you go to use the app, you forget what the new things were. You can often find them in the Help menu right here. In fact, most of the time the articles and videos actually draw on the same information. Even third-party apps will use the Help menu with access to documentation and a What's New item. But third-party developers are free to do what they want, so they may or may not have documentation or a What's New item in the Help menu. Now, even though the Help menu seems to lead you to documentation for the app you're using, you can actually get to documentation for your entire system, no matter what app you're in. So here, for instance, I'm going to choose Pages Help, and it's going to bring up the little Help app here. It's a little window that floats above everything else. There's the search box here, and if I search for something, like I'm going to search for iCloud, notice I do get items here at the top that pertain to that app. So here are 26 results for Pages for the keyword iCloud. But under that, I can see other help. And this gives me help entries for other apps like Notes, Finder, and Photos. A lot of times you're going to find just general system information like where to find things in system settings and such. So even if the information you're looking for doesn't pertain to that app, you can still get to it through the Help menu. And at the bottom here, you're going to see more results on the web. Notice we're in the Pages app here. So when I click on that, it's going to do a search. And you can see the search is for the search term, but also it's going to include Pages and the version of macOS I was using. But the Help menu does more than just give you documentation. You can also use it to find menu items. So for instance, here I am in Pages. And in Pages, I've got some pretty deep menus here with lots of submenus. For instance, under Insert, I can go to Line, and then I can insert a line with arrowhead. Now suppose I know that menu item exists, but I don't remember where it is. I don't remember it's in the Insert menu, or maybe I don't remember that it's in the Line submenu. I can find it using Help. If I just remember that the word arrow is in there somewhere, I can search for arrow, and then I could see various menus that include the word arrow, including the one I want. And I can select it right here, and it will actually execute that command. So I didn't have to go to the Insert menu at all. I could use Help to find it and to activate the item. And note that when I did this, it not only showed me a list of items here and allowed me to select one, but it also showed me where that item really is. So I can see that it's in Insert, under Line, and there's Line with arrowhead, and it's got that kind of moving pointer right there to show me where it's at. So if your goal is to learn an app really well and learn where all the menu items are, what I recommend is use the Help menu to find something. But once you find it, look carefully at where it is, and then instead of activating it here, then actually go to the item itself and use it there. And this will help you remember for future use where that item is. Now the Help menu actually has a keyboard shortcut, and it's a universal keyboard shortcut across all your apps. You won't see it up here in the menu bar or in the menu itself, but it's actually Command and question mark, which on US keyboards is actually Command Shift and slash, because the question mark key is Shift and slash. So use Command Shift and slash, and you could see it brings up the Help menu and actually has a blinking text cursor in the search field without ever having to touch the mouse or trackpad. Now you can use the arrow keys to go down and select an item with return or space. But you could also just start typing here in search. So I could start typing like that, and then when I see the item I want, I can move with the down arrow to that item and use the spacebar or return to activate it. This means that you can access any item in the menu with a keyboard shortcut. Notice that insert line with arrowhead doesn't have a keyboard shortcut assigned, but I was able to get to it and activate it only using the keyboard with the Help menu. You could take the keyboard shortcuts one step further. If you want to access any part of the menu, you could do so using the same Shift command and then slash or question mark to get to the Help menu. But now that you're here, instead of down arrow to go to one of the items below, you can use the left arrow to actually navigate to a menu. And then once you're there, you can go down, to the right, down, and you can use the return or spacebar to activate an item like that. Now I should add that if you go to System Settings and then go to Keyboard, and then under Keyboard go to Keyboard Shortcuts, and then go to Keyboard, you're going to find a Move Focus to the menu bar item here that will do the same thing, but it will take you either to the Apple menu or the last menu you were using. However, I find this doesn't work 100% of the time, whereas Shift Command question mark does. And it's also a lot easier to remember. In addition, I should point out that if you go to App Shortcuts here and then go to All Applications, the only item that's there by default, and you actually can't even remove it, is Show Help menu. So here you can make sure it's activated. You may have turned it off in the past. And you can also change the keyboard shortcut, although I highly recommend that you keep it at the easy to remember Command question mark or Shift Command slash. But if you really want, you can make it say a single key press like using one of the F keys. So the next time you need to figure out how to do something in an app, try using the Help menu, going to the documentation, or searching. And the next time you need to find a menu item or maybe just activate it from the keyboard, even if there's no keyboard shortcut, try using Shift Command slash and get to it through the Help menu. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.